also your expert for office furniture, copiers, technology products, and phone systems. Head down the road to data security when you call Dunn's Business Solutions in Gaylord or visit michigan.visualedgeit.com.
The all-new QTA is here. Ready to personalize or protect your ride? What you drive is an extension of you. QTA will make it just for you with a great selection of lift kits, off-road extensions, rims, tires, and hitches. And QTA will protect that investment with rust-proofing and undercoating. See everything that we can do at QTAonline.com or call 989-745-6127 and beautify your baby today.
Good morning, Northern Michigan. Welcome to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport TVC. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Rich Calkins. And Rich, you know, the almost perfect scenario happened yesterday. Tigers looking at a sweep of a doubleheader with the Mets, and then Pete Alonso hit a home run off of Alex Faedo, off an impossible pitch to hit.
Absolutely. Faedo could not be blamed for that pitch. That was a great pitch. Low in the strike zone. He hit it
tailing away
6 to 8 inches off the ground, and he just used brute force to muscle it over.
Well, it's a guy that's hit 140 home runs. I think he's hit more home runs over the last 3 years than what's his name from the Yankees.
Oh yeah, Judge.
Yeah,
Aaron Judge. Oh, he's been a beast, absolutely, in hitting the home runs. And so, you know, anyone that's blaming Faedo right now, no way, because that was a great pitch. He just a great hitter, just made solid contact and got them tied up, and it got them over the hump to finally win their first game.
Their first game with 19 people in the stands.
Oh my gosh,
they were yelling. There was more Tiger fans in Mets ballpark. I don't know what I think it's called Citi Field. They were chanting Jared Goff in the. That's how many Tiger fans were in the ballpark. You could hear the chanting on the radio, Jared Goff.
I mean, but for the Tigers to start off 5-1 overall, coming home.
No, it sucks. I really wanted the 6-0. I mean, what were when I was trying to remember the actual number in 1984? I think the Tigers came home 8-0, if I remember correctly, because they started on the West Coast that year. And it was either 8-0 or 9-0, and Tiger hysteria had already clamped down. The preseason publications, a lot of people already had the Tigers, winning the American League, because in '83 they had made that tremendous second half run in the strike season, and they signed Darrell Evans. They had put a left-handed power in the lineup, and everything worked out to perfection. I don't think I've told this story on the air before, but so when opening day of 1984 happened, the Tigers, of course, were on Michigan Avenue. All the bars were absolutely packed. There was, the traditional 150,000 people, and only 56,000 people could get into Old Tiger Stadium. So we spent, most of the pregame. What we used to do, Rich, is we would go to Xochimilco's. What we used to do is we would take the 10:30 a.m. tour of Stroh's Brewery.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we did this for many, many years because at the end you get free Strohs.
Okay.
So we would woof down our 3 or 4, as many free Strohs as they would give us before they kicked us out.
Right.
Go around the corner to Xochimilco's, which in my mind is the best Mexican restaurant in Detroit. Get loaded up on nacho chips and some great Mexican food, and then go over to Nemo's, which is still there.
It is, exactly, right on Michigan Avenue.
The greatest sports bar in America. And so we went to the game. Tigers, I think they played the Royals, and they were blowing the doors off of them. It was like 7-0 at the 7th inning. I walk out of the ballpark and run into my dad, and my dad is the drunkest I have ever seen him. Drunker than when he was at my wedding. He was plowed. And I'm like, Dad. And he's like, they're going to go 162-0. So Tiger Fever was real.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, at that point when the dad is doing the 162-0 and he'd seen everything coming through the Tigers for many years. Yeah, it's an incredible start, and how that euphoria overtakes a city and a state is amazing.
Yeah, there's going to be gladness, joy, and excitement, and there always is.
Yeah.
I mean, but thank God they're 5-1, not 1-5.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. 5-1. It's a little chilly down there, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's 38 degrees right now. 43 degrees predicted right at first
Is that
pitch.
it?
Yeah. Yep, I pulled up. I have AccuWeather pulled up on my computer
Well,
right now.
thank you,
for Detroit.
AccuWeather forecast from Rich
Yeah,
Calkins.
that's right. You got to know what you're getting into, baby.
Well, it's going to be bright sunshine, so it will be much warmer in the ballpark.
And as long as the sun's out, it's a beautiful thing. Like you said, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people all around Comerica Park at all of the establishments enjoying themselves and talking Tigers, and in a positive note to start the season.
Oh yeah, pitching has been as advertised.
Incredible.
That's kind of the little bit of the upset about the Tigers losing that, going into the ninth inning, winning 1-0. Mm-hmm. But every one of their wins, but one of them has been, they ended up winning 2 games by 3 runs in extra innings.
Extra innings, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so those, again, the offense is slow to come around here. Like you said, right now, JC, the Tigers have the second best ERA in all of Major League Baseball.
Second?
I know, hard to believe, 2.04. So I don't know who's at first, but what's on second. But but again, average, we're 23rd in both runs scored and average. And that
they've only hit, 2 home runs.
Riley Green has 2 of them. And,
he has both of them.
Yeah, and I think
No. Kelly's got one,
Kelly.
so we've only hit 3 home runs.
But
Mookie Betts has 5.
Timely hitting is better than no hitting at all.
No doubt about it. And, the Tigers are traditionally a horrible hitting team in April.
They are.
It just, that's the way it's been. And certainly some of it is due to cold weather.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you're, at first pitch again, 43 degrees, a little bit of 10 mile an hour wind there. It's a little chilly in the ballpark for sure, and it definitely affects hitting throughout all of Major League Baseball.
Compression of the baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing with a golf ball.
And no matter how you slice it, per se, excuse the pun on the golf swing there, but it's still, you catch one off the end of the bat, it vibrates your hands like there's no tomorrow. Playing spring baseball in northern Michigan for many years, that's what all of our local teams have started: baseball, softball, all of that throughout northern Michigan. They're feeling that. They understand that right now.
Well, the Tigers are going to come in just a bit jet-lagged, playing a double-header on Thursday, a day they were supposed to have off.
A scheduled off day, and they play a doubleheader, exactly. So, yeah, that was really tough for sure because of the inclement weather at Citi Field in New York City. The Mets, nothing they could do about it. It was horrible, horrible weather, but they were able to get the 2 in yesterday. Tigers won the first one, of course, and so that's a good thing. But again, to come home and have their home opener starting at 5-1, it's just going to be an infectious atmosphere down at Comerica Park.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The opening lineup today's Matt Vierling's going to lead off. He'll be in right field. Andy Ibanez will be at second base. Torkelson at first base. Riley Green at left field. Cana is going to be at the DH. Gio Urshela on third base, so a couple of 2 new Tigers there. Jake Rogers catching, Javi Baez at short, Parker Metters in center field, and Tarek Skubal, who's already won. No, did he get the win in the first game?
I think so, yeah. He absolutely, again, couldn't ask for, obviously, he's our stud.
Well, they set it up. They brought Matt Manning up
to pitch the second game yesterday, who did not pitch bad.
No, he didn't give up a hit.
Didn't give up a hit at all. And again, when guys
he walked a couple.
Yeah.
Struck out a couple. It was a tough day to pitch. Casey Mize gave up 3 runs, but I listened to most of the ball game, and it was 40 degrees.
Yes.
And when it's that cold and you're a slider pitcher, and both Mize and Manning rely on their slider quite a bit, the grip is difficult.
It is, exactly. Yeah, I didn't think Mize, for not pitching in almost 2 years now.
741 days.
Yes. I didn't think, overall, I'll take that outing. It wasn't horrible at all. So, again, once he gets into a rhythm and all of that, I think, and again, having him as your quote-unquote number 5 starter right now, it's not a horrible thing at all, what he has done. But because we've gotten guys out of the bullpen, the Tyler Holton and the Shelby Millers and the guys like that.
Miller has pitched 2 extra inning games, gone 2 innings as a relief pitcher, and gotten both wins.
It's been amazing.
Yeah,
exactly. These guys, we saw it last year with what they did with the bullpen, and it looks like it's going to carry over again this year because, again, they just come in, they throw strikes, they don't mess around. They're not going to hand you a bunch of walks and give you free bases. They're going to throw strikes, and either you put the ball in play or you can't hit it at all. And again, I really like the way A.J. Hinch uses the bullpen, the way he uses all of his players. I love that as well. In certain matchups, that's already been proven effective.
The Tigers don't have a day off. They had 2 days off because of the rain delay, but especially the first day, they were there until 9 o'clock when they called the game. The Tigers are not off until Wednesday the 10th. So,
exactly.
But fortunately, they have the Athletics for the next 3 games. The A's predicted to be the worst team in baseball. Yes. People are now already calling them the Sacramento A's because if you haven't heard the news, folks, this is so up in the air. Just to get off topic for a second, they may or may not be moving to Vegas.
They're going to play in Sacramento.
They're going to play. They have turned down the lease offer that Oakland led them to stay at that ballpark. They shouldn't play in that ballpark. That thing is the oldest other than Fenway and Wrigley,
right?
Which are historic gems.
Yes, exactly.
That place is a dump. I've been to plenty of games at whatever they call that stadium in Oakland.
Wrigley and Fenway should be around forever because of the history and.
Oh, no doubt about it. But the deal is not done in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I think they have to have a vote about tax issues so they can build the stadium.
Right.
And, those things don't go so well anymore.
They would just
Kansas City.
Coming off of back-to-back
Super Bowls.
Super Bowl championships, and the people resoundingly said, niche.
Well, I think they were actually resoundingly voting again. If they had broken it up and had just the Arrowhead Stadium improvements, they probably would have voted yes.
Uh-huh.
But it also included a brand new stadium for the Royals, which is a fantastic ballpark.
It is. It's aged very well.
Yeah.
That ballpark.
Yeah,
everyone talks about it.
They just did a ton of renovation to the ballpark.
The Tigers go there every year, and every time you're on the broadcast, you hear about them talking about how this stadium has aged well. They've done a great job. It really fits in well. And it just, it made no sense.
I agree. I think that it is redundant. Don't get on camera. Breaking news. The tearing down of the Silverdome was necessary.
Yes.
I mean, that was an old ballpark.
Yeah.
Nobody was ever going to move back into it. It had run its course. I get that. But when they blew up the Palace.
Yeah, I did not get. They had sunk a bunch of money into that just prior.
Mm-hmm. I know. I used to run all the security systems at the Palace. The company that bought my security company, I sold them all the service contracts to the Palace. We had all the cameras, the door card readers, and everything else. It was a huge security issue.
I was fortunate enough to call a high school basketball game there between Grayling and Tawas with Tom McCord. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the building.
No, and I understand they wanting to move downtown, but And the Pistons had lost a huge amount of fans, but that was strictly born out of the fact that the team was no good.
Right.
And they wanted to reestablish themselves as Detroit's team.
Yes.
Hasn't worked out.
No, it has not.
You can shoot a cannon through the through LCA when the Pistons are playing.
No question.
Good to see that the fan base is back for the Red Wings, but we are very excited. I'm going to be doing one more segment with Rich before I run out of here, and to go to the Iron Pig Smokehouse in downtown Gaylord from 11 to 1 o'clock. We'll be broadcasting on our sister station 100.3. Leading up to the game that starts at 1 o'clock. And they're going to have a all-you-can-eat Coney bar, great drink specials, great food specials. We'll be allowing people to register to win a pair of Tiger tickets. You can spin the prize wheel. We got lottery tickets and Jimmy John's cards and everything else. So if you want to get in, it will never be like being down at Comerica Park.
Right.
Dean Bach and Ian and I were like, wouldn't it be great if we had like 300 people around? That's not going to happen because you're not going to the game. But we've got beautiful weather. We got great food. We got the Tigers on the tube. So get in the spirit and join us up at the Iron Pig in Gaylord.
Yeah, and the last time we were on a remote, JC, was the opener of the season.
Silver Dollar. We had a great
Dollar,
crowd.
And people that spun the wheel and won the scratch-off tickets, we had a lot of winners.
We
there.
did. Paid for their
Yes.
for their food and drinks.
It was way cool.
Yeah. So well, hopefully we see a lot of you guys and gals at the Iron Pig here in just a little bit. When we return here on Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, we talk about the NHL and the gauntlet that is the rest of this hockey season.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
Hey barbecue fans, this is Ian Murphy from the Iron Pig Smokehouse in downtown Gaylord. We've got a brand new menu for you to try. All our classic favorites plus a few new additions like egg rolls, smoked whitefish wontons, Texas Twinkies, pot stickers, and more. We're open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 11 a.m. and serve breakfast Saturday and Sunday beginning at 9 a.m. Visit ironpigsmoke.com for all the current happenings including live music, karaoke, and open mic. And don't forget to risk it for the brisket.
The Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best 2024 Reader's Choice Contest is now open. Nominate your favorite businesses, organizations, and professionals in Northern Michigan to earn them well-deserved recognition as Simply the Best. You can nominate once daily in each category now through Friday, May 10th. Our 2023 Simply the Best broke records with more than 14,500 nominations and more than 26,000 votes. Support your favorites and help them stand out above the rest. Nominate at record-eagle.com/simplythebest.
Tune in to Finding Fairways on 101.1 WGRY on Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Brought to you in part by Twin Birch Golf Course in Kalkaska. Check them out at twinbirchgolf.com. 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio. Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. We're doing a live Destination NHL. Jerry Coyne on the phone with Kevin Klein, the director of Cherry Capital Airport. Kevin, 7 huge games left on the Red Wings schedule, must-wins.
Must win tonight against the Rangers. We have to win to stay in the playoffs, and I'll tell you, it's a knuckle biter all the way to the end here. Oh. But, we have to look at Eisman has really pushed this team this year, and if we make the playoffs, that's a big goal for us. So I'm happy with the performance.
Well, the landscape keeps changing now. The Penguins beat the Capitals, and the Penguins are now in this thing along with the Capitals and the Islanders, and the Wings have to play all of these guys in the next week.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun to see that, and as we look to these games happening, I got to tell you, the flights that go to Pittsburgh are even better than they were last week.
Oh, wow.
314 last week. It's 288 this week. So, I think to be able to go see our Wings on the road on the 11th, it will be awesome. And, that's through Delta Airlines making that one-stop connection through Detroit. But even as we look towards the other, as they play, and wrap up the season, I'll say the Canada tour, you're in Toronto, and then you play the Canadians also.
Right. Yep.
Those fares have dropped. We talked a couple weeks ago that those fares were close to $1,000. Going to Toronto to see them on the 13th is actually dropped about $400.
Wow.
It's gone down to $644. So, I would say, hey, if you're looking to fly and go see these Wings to close out the season, keep watching those fares because they're dropping.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to see the Wings in this playoff hunt play in Pittsburgh or Toronto in those legendary stadiums?
Oh, that's awesome. Just awesome. And you know what? I'm excited about Detroit sports here today, Jerry, because at 1:10 you have the Tigers home opener.
Yep.
Then you have tonight at 7 p.m. against the Rangers. I should have made my doubleheader ticket purchase a long time ago. I'm sitting here this morning going, why am I at work? I need to be in Detroit.
Well, I know you're a little bit too far away in Traverse City to come to our tailgater happening at the Iron Pig Smoke, but you're absolutely right. Right here on 101.1, one of the reasons why we partner with Cherry Capital Airport is the Tiger game will be here, pregame at 12:45, and then, of course, we'll be playing that Red Wing game tonight. So you'll be able to at least tune in, Kevin, and listen to all the action.
I'll be on the radio. My friends. I'll be on the radio.
All right,
Love
and
it.
then next week, hopefully, we'll be able to talk about Destination NHL and Destination MLB.
You got it. Go Wings.
Go Wings. Kevin, what's that, the website again to find out all the flights and all the destinations you can get to from Cherry Capital Airport?
That would be tvcairport.com.
Kevin Klein, thanks for joining us. Go Wings.
Go Wings.
There you go, Rich.
Yeah,
Destination NHL.
Yeah, JC, that crazy schedule, that is the NHL. The Wings have been off since Monday, where they absolutely played great and beaten Tampa. So that was great. But then they play, 4 or 5 games in the next week then, starting on, what is it?
They play tonight against the Rangers come to Little Caesars Arena.
Yep.
And then Sunday, the Sabres play. Sabres still have an outside chance to slide in. Right. Then they play the Capitals.
On Tuesday.
So they got Friday, Sunday, Tuesday.
Thursday.
Thursday they're on the road in Pittsburgh. Saturday they're on the road in Toronto. They come home on Monday and play the Canadians. And then a day later, flip around the old, hated I've told you that story, right?
Right.
Okay, so back in the day, in the 50s, when Gordie Howe was playing, when the Wings were the greatest hockey team, it was either the Wings or the Canadians.
Canadians, yep.
And my father used to be really good friends with Alex Del Vecchio. And they used to have, they took the train.
Right.
Back and forth between Montreal and Detroit.
Yes.
And because there was only 6 teams, so they were on
they
were on that train all the time, going to either Montreal or to Toronto. And the Wings and the Canadians hated each other so much, they would be on the same train in separate cars, and they would stop the train for the Wings to get off and walk around the Montreal Canadiens car to get to the dining car because every time they walked through it, there would be a melee in the train. I mean, that's how much they hated each other.
Yeah,
they learned the hard way.
This is real rivalry stuff here.
Yeah, they knew each other so well. They would play each other like 20 times a year.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's great. Empty the car and go
That's
around
right. Stop
in the dining
train,
car.
Get out, go get your food, go back in.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah. So as I mentioned to Kevin, the Penguins beat the Capitals last night, shifting again where the wild card is for the NHL.
Right.
And let me give you the latest and greatest on that because, like I said, every single day it changes.
It does. Like you said, now the Islanders have kind of come up and now are in the within the realm of potential.
Yeah,
wild
right
card.
now the wild card, Tampa's at 93. The Islanders have 83 points because they won yesterday. Washington and Detroit both have 82 points. The Penguins have 81.
Unbelievable.
So this is going to change. Literally, the Wings need to win out.
They do.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, and you know what I mean? If you take care of business yourself, then you don't have to worry them, for the most part, about what everyone else is
But
doing.
especially beating Washington and Pittsburgh that are coming up here.
Yes.
They do not play the Islanders again.
Okay. But right, you deny that and
Yeah.
win in regulation where you get the 2 points and deny the opposing team that you're battling with. No, you give them no points whatsoever.
Yeah, the Islanders, let's just see real quick what the Islanders have left on their schedule. So they play Nashville tomorrow, which Nashville has been super hot.
That's a
we
tough
lost
team.
to Nashville. They had the best record in hockey over the last 20 games, better than anybody. They're not going to make the playoffs,
Wow.
but they are playing great hockey right now. Then they play the Rangers. Then they play the Canadiens. They play the Rangers again. They play New Jersey and Pittsburgh. So nobody has it very easy.
No, not at all. No, for sure. And I love teams like Nashville, what they are right now, wanting to play spoiler and stuff. And so you can get, teams get momentum, they get motivated by all kinds of means, and that's one of the ways where they are still playing hard.
Well, actually,
spoiler.
Nashville has moved into the wild card.
So even better for them.
Yeah.
Trying to play extra games this year are the Predators.
Yeah, they are 7-3 in their last 10 games.
The Wings would take that, that's for sure.
There's no doubt about it. But, Alex Lyon has played very well in goal the last couple of games.
He's starting again tonight.
Yeah, he's got, well, of course, he kind of hot.
You do, exactly. You ride the hot goalie. I see Michael Rasmussen is out tonight.
I saw that.
So, but no, ride that hot goaltender, man. Ride him.
Calm down there.
I know.
Rich is getting a little excited.
Sports terms there.
I'm going to head out of studio. Got to get to the Iron Pig Smoke for our opening day party. Tigers home opener is going to be very, very exciting. But I do, Lindsay Southwell cannot come on the phone today because we've got the hang time. The main exciting there is that they're open for golf today.
That's amazing.
Summit Golf Course at Shanty Creek's original golf course is in fine early season shape. To celebrate the opening of the season, golf rounds will be $25 for 18 holes, including cart, $15 for 9 holes. The Summit will be open this weekend, and then we'll be opening the following weekend as long as the weather cooperates, which looks pretty good.
It does look good.
We'll keep you updated on Summit Golf Club's status until all the courses are open at the end of the month, April 26th. So you can go to shantycreek.com to keep up on all that information. Speaking of golf, we have the inaugural season starting tomorrow and Sunday right here on Up North Sports Radio for Finding Fairways. So that first show is in the bag. Like I said, you can listen to it at 9 o'clock here on Up North Sports Radio tomorrow and Sunday. And we will be carrying it on our Facebook page just so we're streaming this ugly-ass show with Rich and I on TV. But you'll be able to see the show on Facebook. We've got some pretty interesting stuff that JJ and I are working on. It's a work in process for sure because we haven't done this before.
Right.
But we're very excited about the Golf Season Masters next week.
Yeah, exactly. Great time of year for sure.
Back after these words on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
The Tigers very close to returning to Detroit undefeated, giving up 2 runs in the 9th inning of their second game of a doubleheader in New York to lose 2-1. Not Matt Manning's fault. He got a spot start and threw nearly 6 hitless innings, though he was pretty hard on himself.
To my personal standard, wasn't good at all, but I mean, you'll take it when you get him.
Detroit still comes back for their home opener with a 5-1 record, the last team in Major League Baseball to lose a game. As the Wings sat idle, the Islanders passed them in the standings after beating Columbus. Detroit is 1 point behind them and the Capitals, who lost their game to Pittsburgh. The Firebirds swept out of the OHL playoffs as the London Knights beat them 3-2 in Flint, taking care of them in 4 straight games. A couple of notable transfer portal additions: Michigan's Terrence Williams II and Spartans big man Madi Sissoko enter the portal. And Wolverines golfer Haley Borja qualifying for the final round of the Augusta Women's Amateur in Georgia. She ended up tied 5th at 1 under and will play Saturday at Augusta National. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer.
Is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff. Rich Calkins in studio right now. JC on his way up to the Iron Pig Smokehouse up in Gaylord to help celebrate Tigers' home opener. But we're going to talk a little bit of NC2A men's basketball right now because JC and I earlier in the week were able to sit down and talk to Greg Campy, of course, coach of Oakland University, had that huge win over Kentucky during the tournament, and also gives us a little prognostication here on what's going to happen with the upcoming Final Four. So here is Greg Campy of Oakland University.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff here on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Cohen and Rich Calkins in studio with Greg Campy, now suddenly the most famous man in America. Coach, what has this been like? You could never have imagined anything this big crossing your professional plate, can you?
Well, when it happens, it gives you a real sense of how does Izzo do this? How does whoever, right? Was the dude from Villanova?
Jay Wright.
Jay Wright. How does he do this? I mean, it's been, it's exhausting. I mean, it's crazy. I told a couple of people, I just apologize. I had over 3,000 text messages. I thought I had answered them all, and then my phone says I still have 176 left, but I can't find them. I don't know if my phone exploded because there's 176 people who sent me a text that I haven't answered. I feel terrible about that. I've got well over 100 emails I haven't answered, and then when I walked in the office today, they brought me a box full of mail. Kids and little kids from across the country that I've got to. So the next month is going to be a lot of trying to answer stuff, and it's just crazy. I've never experienced anything over 1 week.
Yeah, Coach, it's almost like you won that $1 billion lottery or something.
Well, almost. I'd better take that $1 billion. You wouldn't see me if that happened.
Coach, is it an open recruiting window right now? Do you have to do recruiting on top of all this?
Yeah, the window closes tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
And then it's closed for 1 week. And then, well, a week and a day. So on Friday of next week, it'll open back up, and I've got 5 different kids coming in that week for visits, and we're trying to get this all wrapped up. The portal is really steaming right now. I mean, kids are going in the portal. Coaches are jumping all over, and a lot of the Final Four coaches are mad because they've got to worry about winning games and they can't recruit in the portal.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because nobody knows how to handle this. It's all new, and I think next year you'll see a rule where the portal doesn't open probably until the Final Four's over. So
hopefully,
yeah, it's just crazy right now. And on top of that, I can't go anywhere without it taking 4 hours because everybody wants to talk. And this is Oakland's 15 minutes of fame, so I've got to talk to everyone. I've got to make myself available because it's great for the school. And so it's just a crazy time right now.
Yeah, now, Coach, speaking of rosters and how you're going to fill it out for next year, what is the deal with your current roster, and what can you expect to come back next year?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do in the free time that I have is meet with each player, and we're trying to keep certain players, and then there are a couple that are going in the portal because, their playing time here isn't what they wanted, and they should. That's what's going on now, so they should be part of it. They shouldn't be different. So, I'm meeting with everybody, helping them, and if they do go in, I'm trying to find them the right places because they're still my family, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Because get them around the ring city wanted to get here, he's getting around, and he's part of the greatest team in Oakland history, and I want to make sure that kid's taken care of for the rest of his life. So, there's a lot on that, and we're trying to help them all we can. We're going to have probably 4 kids going in, and then, the Thompson situation is going to declare for the draft. He's going to probably go in the portal. He may come back. He's as confused as anybody because right now, he's a guy getting it. He is everywhere he goes. He and Loki are the new national heroes right now. So, Loki's making more money than I make right now on all his ads and commercials and things like that. Thompson is, he's just got some tough decisions to make. There's a lot of money's being thrown at him to come play at their school. And so, over the next 2 weeks, he's got some tough decisions to make.
Did they do the draft analysis on him yet, Coach? I know that they rate these kids and yes, you get what did can you divulge that?
Well, he's got to go through that.
Oh, he hasn't done that yet. Okay.
That's just starting. But, I've got, because of how long I've been here, I've got 2 or 3 former assistants that are either general managers or assistant general managers.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
The fresh flavors of the Benetham's Kitchen truly come to life during spring and remind us why we love returning to Benetham's over and over again. Everything on the Benetham's menu is made with the freshest ingredients, and the quality is in every bite. Additionally, there is always a daily appetizer and dinner special in case you want to taste what the chef is sampling. The Benetham's Happy Hour from 4 to 6 is a fantastic way to try many of those fresh flavors. Visit Benethams.com and make your reservation. Benetham's, for the true love of food.
The all-new QTA is here, Ready to personalize or protect your ride? What you drive is an extension of you. QTA will make it just for you with a great selection of lift kits, off-road extensions, rims, tires, and hitches. And QTA will protect that investment with rust-proofing and undercoating. See everything that we can do at QTAonline.com or call 989-745-6127 and beautify your baby today.
Studies show that connected communities play a crucial role in lowering the risk of sexual violence. Together, we can create safer, more connected communities with these actions. Join community events that create a sense of value and connection. Promote safe spaces across our community that support survivors of sexual abuse. Advocate for a culture that ensures survivors can report confidentially. Start conversations about the importance of consent and respect. Support policies that address sexual assault prevention to create safe and thriving communities. If you want more information or confidential support, call Women's Resource Center of Northern Michigan, 800-275-1995, 800-275-1995, or visit WRCNM.org, WRCNM.org. Together, let's end sexual violence.
The Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best 2024 Reader's Choice Contest is now open. Nominate your favorite businesses, organizations, and professionals in Northern Michigan to earn them well-deserved recognition as Simply the Best. You can nominate once daily in each category now through Friday, May 10th. Our 2023 Simply the Best broke records with more than 14,500 nominations and more than 26,000 votes. Support your favorites and help them stand out above the rest. Nominate at record-eagle.com/simplythebest.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff. Rich Calkins in studio with you, and also jumping in here is J.J. Rowell, my broadcast partner. Sorry about that, buddy.
Throw a few J's in there. It gets
right,
confusing.
Exactly. I can only handle so many. And we had some technical difficulties there with, of course, Coach Campion at Oakland interview there. Sorry about that. But what we do have going on right now tonight is a final start of a Final Four, and not the guys, but it's the girls. And, of course, all the world is abuzz with Caitlin Clark from Iowa going to take on Paige Beckers from UConn, and that's a game that's going to be on at 9 o'clock, maybe 9:15, 9:30 is opening tip. But 12.3 million people, JJ, watched that game of Iowa versus LSU in the Elite Eight, and obviously that set a record.
Yeah, honestly, I followed the headlines.
Right.
And I saw the one young lady from LSU right after the game announce she was going to the transfer portal or going to
the one player is going
NBA.
to. The other one did announce that she's going to the WNBA. So that's what Angel Reese is her name, that's going to the WNBA. But Caitlin Clark, I believe, is going to also go. She hasn't made it official yet. But again, she's setting all. She's already has the scoring record for NC2A basketball, men's, women's, you name it. She is an absolute. I consider her like the female Steph Curry of basketball. Not only because of the way she shoots, but the range in which she shoots from and the effect it has on her team and the crowd. I mean, Caitlin Clark is a draw.
She is.
Now, I mean, throughout the Big Ten this year, when Iowa went to visiting places, most of the time they were sellouts at the opposing team's arenas because they wanted to see Caitlin Clark. So she is that big a draw. And so when you're that big a draw, that's really an interesting dynamic now because she does have one more year of eligibility because of COVID. Of course, we've seen football players play 6-8 years because of COVID.
They're in their 30s. They're still playing ball.
Exactly. Yeah, you could do it. So a thought came to mind. Someone brought it up on one of the talking heads this week. But think of this dynamic, JJ, is if Caitlin Clark hung around one more year in college basketball, she's got already all kinds of NIL money, name, image, and likeness, of course, making millions off of that. She could continue to do that and be the face of women's basketball for another year, play in front of all kinds of sold-out arenas all around the United States here, and do that. Or she goes into the WNBA, and I'm not sure exactly what the starting salary is, but it's not a lot. Maybe $50,000 to $80,000, maybe somewhere in there.
You know,
and you're gonna go. You won't have the same following then in the WNBA as you would in college. You could have a tour literally all next year, playing almost 30 games. By the end of her senior season, where you're playing in packed houses, arenas. Of course, she takes out like a Lloyd's of London insurance policy against potential catastrophic injury or anything like that. But man, I'm telling you, that's a whole different ballgame when you're playing in front of these huge fans, loving it, doing all of that kind of stuff, as compared to going into the WNBA and you kind of become just another player.
Yeah, the money is definitely staying in college next year. And not even just the money, but just the love of the game is going to be there more at that college level. I mean, she's got to look at her current team, and she doesn't want to come to a retirement season with a team that's not going to make it all the way.
Right.
But at the same time, you just look at yourself as an athlete. You only have so many years to do it. You're going to have a lot more fun and make a lot more money at that college level next year as a super senior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just an interesting dynamic, though. You know what I mean? To have that. When you see her and you watch her play, after every game, there are little girls lined up everywhere for her autograph and everything, and she takes, for the most part, takes time to sign a whole bunch of autographs after every single game because she's accessible with this, being the NC2A, all of that. So it's really kind of a cool thing, and it's really brought a ton of attention to women's basketball. And also tonight, she's going up against Paige Beckers, the former, as a freshman, was it 3 years ago, because she suffered some injury. She was player of the year as a freshman, this Paige Beckers was, from UConn. And so UConn only has 7 healthy players to play in the game tonight because they have had the injury bug. Of course, Gino Auriemma is the head coach of UConn, and I think he's got 11 national titles. So UConn, of course, is the hub of not only women's basketball, but also men's basketball. So they, JC is sending a text in here. He said $250,000 is what he thinks is the starting salary potential. She will be the number 1 overall pick in women's basketball, no doubt about it, if she comes out.
Even $250,000, that's tip money.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared
But again,
to the NIL.
she's going to she's going to get shoe deals. She's going to get if she doesn't have that already. I mean, I see her on commercials right now already as a senior at Iowa. So again, can she make similar money in NIL? And again, there's something about playing out in front of sold out arenas your whole senior season. Again, as compared to going, it's a business decision. She's going to have to make that for sure. But again, there's no, in the game before, earlier in the Final Four of the women's, is South Carolina is taking on NC State. South Carolina, undefeated, have not lost a game. They've lost 1 ball game in 2 years, and that ball game was against Iowa last year, I believe, in the Elite 8. And they have a 6'7", imagine this, a 6'7" post player down low for South Carolina. And I tell you what, that's a tough matchup for anybody. When you got someone, when you can dominate the glass with a 6'7" post person, it's just unbelievable. Because most of the time in women's basketball at the collegiate level, their low post people are 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'4" every once in a while. But to have someone 6'7", down there, and I've watched her play some, and she's a good athlete. I tell you what, that could make a world of difference when you have good perimeter players as well, and then to match that up with that size down low. But
that extra height just goes a long ways.
Does. Iowa got out rebounded by 20 or so in the last game against LSU, but still were able to overcome it, and they ran the ball really well as well. So again, some real interesting stuff tonight. Final Four basketball for the ladies, no question about it.
Now on the men's side, I can throw out there and let everybody know that we will be covering both games Saturday night. We'll have the NC State and Purdue game and the Alabama and UConn game. And then on Monday night, we will be covering here on Up North Sports Radio, WGRY, the finals.
Excellent. Well, that's excellent to know, JJ, because, again, you're home for all kinds of sports here. Not only Tiger baseball, Red Wing hockey, but we're going to be the rest of the men's NC2A basketball.
I'm working on a cricket tournament sometime in the summer.
That's funny. But also, I wanted to touch base, JJ, as well, is that less than 3 weeks away, the NFL draft is heading to Detroit, Michigan.
They're building structures in downtown Detroit.
They're already blocking off certain streets, getting it ready. It's a big deal, no question about it, as really they are hoping, of course, for hundreds of thousands of people to have the mass pilgrimage to Detroit for their favorite teams. Again, that starts April 25th, the NFL draft on Thursday the 25th, and it goes Friday and Saturday. As of 3 weeks ago, there were nearly 6,000 hotel rooms that were already booked.
Wow.
Almost completely booked, up to 90-some% booked at all of these hotels around the Detroit metro area. That's per the city's tourism bureau. Unbelievable. Again, this was 3 weeks ago. So I can imagine now, if you're going to need some inside connections or something, if you want a hotel room around the greater Detroit area, you might have to go much further out into the burbs or something to get that. Kansas City was the host of the NFL draft last year, and they estimated that they had a little over 300,000, about 312,000 visitors came to last year's draft per NFL officials. And they're expecting even a greater turnout to come to Detroit this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, besides barbecue, what else is there in Kansas?
It literally is in the middle of nowhere,
right,
per se. But what they really like about Detroit hosting it is Detroit has been an excellent host for Super Bowls in the past, things like that. But there are 6 NFL cities within a 5-hour drive of Detroit. And so with that includes, of course, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis. So, and you know how NFL fans are, JJ. They will come in droves. A 5-hour road trip for dudes coming to guys
do
and gals.
And do our face paint and everything.
Yes, exactly. And I go back to the NFL draft that was in Tennessee. It was probably about 5 years ago. And they took a drone, and the way they had the stage set up, and they blocked the downtown streets off, and all you saw was a sea of humanity lining the streets of Nashville towards the NFL draft. It was one of the most unbelievable, again, thanks to drones flying over, and you could just see all these people. It was because that main street that they had, of course, are local establishments serving adult beverages and all of that, JJ. So it was just a giant party, and I think that's exactly what they want to have happen in Detroit as well.
Well, yeah, and now Michigan has the carry and go when it comes to the beverages. Walk in, buy yourself one, and head on down the road.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, my big thing is I'm really hoping that the city of Detroit shows well, and I know they'll be excellent hosts for this NFL draft coming up. Of course, the Detroit Lions picking right now 29th overall because of such a great season last year.
It's weird to be so happy that we're picking 29th.
Yeah, exactly. And again, for people that when they say they say, oh, it's going to be this person we're going to pick. Well, you have no idea who's going to be available at 29. You have no idea.
Honestly, if you really want an idea, go watch the Kevin Costner Draft Day movie. I mean, I'm sure it's Hollywooded up, but that's how deals go in the background.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's behind when they show the war rooms of NFL teams, and they'll show some of that stuff behind the scenes and all that. Oh, yeah, when you're looking to make a deal and you want to move up, if you need a franchise quarterback, there's expected and upwards of 6 quarterbacks going in the first round this year.
And speaking of, if I've read it right, J.J. McCarthy
is zooming up the boards,
most likely headed to New England.
Well, that could be true.
I think that's the top
That could be true. I tell you, because I remember you saying something to me a couple of months ago when we were doing Traverse City West basketball games, and you said something about J.J. McCarthy, and I think I kind of just passed on like, oh, I don't think he's a first-round draft pick, blah blah blah. Well, obviously, that's going to prove me wrong because he's coming. He's going to be a top 10 pick. He might be a top 5 pick. Because again, the more they looked at film, no one's played any games in the last 3 months, of course. None of that's happened. But they go back and they're able to look at the film, really study it, because NFL teams, all their scouting departments are looking still at film, interviewing kids, doing that. And they just like, you know what? This kid's got a great arm. He's a good athlete. He knows how to run. He's played in a pro system under Jim. He can take hard coaching from Jim Harbaugh. So they're thinking, they're like, this kid, not only is he kind of sliding under the radar, they won a national championship. When he had to make the big throws, he made them. You know, he's had one loss in 2 years, and that was to a great Georgia team.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, you know, and if he goes into the right system, J.J. McCarthy if he goes to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell and that offensive system and the coaching he'll get, I tell you what, the NFC North with the Lions and the Bears and the Packers, that will be crazy because, again, I think J.J. McCarthy would get the kind of coaching he needs to blossom and to be a really good NFL quarterback.
Well, and J.J. McCarthy, from all reported accounts, not only is he a great quarterback and a great teammate, he's a great person.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He's the type of person you want in your locker room to be a leader.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, he's the kind of kid you're never going to have to worry about him getting that 2 a.m. phone call from the local police department, anything like that. You know, none of those things. And again, another side note about talking about University of Michigan players, it'll be interesting to see after all 7 rounds if the record has been set of the number of players drafted from the same team.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how many, what are they talking, like 15, 16, 17 maybe players drafted from this Michigan team? That's a whole lot.
That worries me for next year's schedule.
Yeah,
you just made my heart stop.
But again, it's a lot of fun, and that's going to be with the draft again being in Detroit, and it's going to be really exciting for the whole state of Michigan. I know I'm going to be watching. My daughter works, of course, down at Harry's downtown Detroit. She is expecting to pull double shifts all through the NFL draft, working hard, making lots of money. But we're going to have to see who the Lions. There's a group. You know, when you start talking about going back to the Lions again, and a group, if you put a group of 10 players that'll potentially be there for the Lions, now that's more realistic, you know, because then you kind of they're going to get a quality player, I think, because of the depth of this draft. At least in the first couple of rounds, you're going to get a quality player that in most years would have went a lot earlier, but because of 6 quarterbacks going in the first 20 picks, 25 picks or so, that's going to push a lot of good players, linemen, receivers, defensive backs, down towards your draft pick at 29. And that's exactly what the Lions are looking for. I feel that they need another defensive back, for sure, if not 2. I'd like to sign another vet, but also bring in a young kid and also grow up in this defense so that he's ready to rock and roll in another year or 2 after some of these vets leave Detroit. Also, I could see the Lions picking an offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman, for in a year when Frank Ragnow, our all-pro center, decides to hang it up because he's been dealing with perpetual injuries in his feet the last couple of years, and that's just impossible to expect him to continue to be there year in and year out when he's got that much pain in his feet. So I would, you know, there's a kid from Oregon. He's got a Johnson something hyphenated name that is a really good guard/center that I would possibly see at that 29th overall pick, because the kid, I think, could certainly start at guard right now and then move into center, you know, next year or in 2 years when Frank Ragnow decides to hang it up.
It's interesting. We're talking about the draft, and my mind is wandering. Tomorrow on our sister station, Q100 Michigan, we're all headed up to Odawa Casino for the Tournament of Rock 5.0 lead guitarist draft. And our new morning show host, Eric Zane from the Insane Asylum, trying to give him advice.
Right.
And say, hey, you can't just, you talked about the Lions having a list of 10.
Yes.
I said, okay, Eric, you're going to be drafting 8 guitarists. You better come with about 3 times as many names on your list, because, you know, just because you pick one and you think that's going to be your pick, well, then JC takes it.
Yes.
Takes that guitar player, and you got to totally scramble on the spot. There's even less time on the clock in the Tournament of Rock than there is on the NFL.
No, that's it. And all the feedback I got from last year's Tournament of Rock, it was a good time. You guys had a blast with it. It came across very well, and it really drew a lot of people in listening, and it made it a whole lot of fun as well.
So, yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow. You can watch the draft on the Q100 Michigan Facebook page and tune in live. We'll have it on the airwaves of our sister station, Q100. But I'm the commissioner.
You are the commissioner. All right.
Which means I just do the talking, and then they do all the picking, and then it just goes from there.
Excellent. No, sounds like a lot of fun. So appreciate you stepping in here, JJ, a moment's notice. And we appreciate everybody tuning in to Friday Faceoff. And, of course, we always want to, we appreciate our sponsor, of course, Cherry Capital Airport TVC. And don't forget, JJ, there's going to be Tiger Baseball here coming up. JC is at the Iron Pig. We'll be rolling in there momentarily. And with a live remote from on Q100, 100.3. And also, again, there'll be NC2A basketball, Tiger baseball, Red Wing hockey, all right here on 101.1. Thanks a lot, JJ.
Happy to do it, Rich.
All right, we'll see you back here next Friday for Friday Face-Off at 10 a.m.
He's nice.
I promise. We're nice here.
He's humble.
I think I'm usually pretty good here on the show about